Hannah, Madison, Tate, and Justin. So throughout, you'll see the theme of four. You have the four circles worked into the pavers. It's a little bit difficult to see, but when you see it from an aerial view, you can see it. There's four circles worked into the base of the center of the garden. There are four bowls in the centerpiece fountain. The tree has four pieces to the trunk and four major platforms or branches. There's groupings of four cherry trees throughout the garden as well. So we did our best to work that throughout the design. We also been trying to incorporate something specific and individual for each of the four. So for Tate, we spoke with his family, and they suggested the theme of giving. And talking with them, we came up with blueberry bushes. So that really fits with Tate being a giver. And so there's about 3 areas throughout the garden that have groupings of blueberry bushes that so people can help themselves to if they beat the birds to it. Anyway, we have butterflies throughout the garden for Madison, and for Justin, their family donated a bush over in the corner here. That is a pollinator to attract butterflies. Moving forward, we hope to make this garden a centerpiece for the community. We have a few ideas for annual events we'd like to work in. The paper lanterns on November 30th. We're thinking of lining the pathways here with the paper lanterns. We have Christmas trees planted down by the wall sign. That we're thinking would be a nice event to have people come and decorate the trees. And then we've added a little bit of annual garden to here, the corner here and this strip here, and eventually around the side here we're going to add some annuals, and thinking of kind of having a annual spring planting type of thing for that. We've created a website likehana.org that has information on the Hannah St. Juliana Memorial Fund, this garden, and will kind of be, I think, the centerpiece for information for further projects and events here at the garden. So it's the site is still a work in progress, but please check it out. So that's the garden. Now kind of for the hard part. Why we're here. We're here to remember Hannah, to remember Madison, Tate, and Justin. To remember that these deaths were preventable. Absolutely preventable. That the failures that led to the needless deaths can be corrected so that this doesn't have to happen to other families in the future. That with meaningful change, we can do a better job of protecting our children in the future. Towards that end, we have, and I mean the families have been working for the last 3.5 years. We've met with the governor and her staff. We gave her a call to action with 12 specific points, asking her to take the lead and make changes. We met with many members of the House and Senate from both sides of the aisle. Mixed responses, some very, very good, some not so much. We met with the Attorney General and members of her staff to try to get an investigation to happen by an actual legal entity in the state. It took 3 years just to get the sit-down meeting with her. But I sat down with her and her staff this past January, got her agreement to do the investigation. So we're anxiously waiting for that to happen. We testified in front of Senate hearing committee meetings. Actually lost my temper as my representative wasn't even paying attention. We've met often with the local school board members and administrators, amongst other things, trying to get them to implement simple tracking and transparency. We met with the State Board of Education, which resulted with them issuing a resolution to the legislature to ask for an investigation. We filed lawsuits to force the truth out. We appeared repeatedly on local and national news, spoke with reporters from around the country and around the world. We have strived to salvage something meaningful from this tragedy, to bring out the facts, to create a lessons learned and drive the change necessary to protect our children. That's some of what we've done. Unfortunately, I have to say we failed. So I ask, what have you done to drive the change? We can't make meaningful headway without the community as a whole. The 4 families, we've given it our all for the last 3.5 years. We failed. We can't do it without you. The uncomfortable truth is that only a handful of community members have been outspoken and consistent. While we'll be forever grateful for the support for the garden and all of these activities, that's not what's going to drive the change necessary. We need everybody to take action, to be outspoken. You have to step up and take action. You cannot rely on the systems or the government or us. Our state legislature is a total disaster. This past week, the leaders of both the House and Senate literally could not even agree on a date to talk about issues. But this is what we're stuck with. This is what we have to work with. The lawsuits have been dismissed by the courts without even hearing the details of the case because of government immunity. The Michigan Supreme Court just this past week refused to even hear the case. From the Mears and some of the others. It wasn't our case, but it doesn't matter. It was critical in challenging this government immunity, which has been a continual obstacle to making any kind of change happen. they basically affirmed by refusing to even hear the case that the government employees are above the law. Local and state prosecutors aren't actually interested in attempting to prosecute because the immunity law, the bar is just simply too high. So